Did you already present the knife?
I mean, we could try the knife. Yep, there we go.
That is.
See, I was assuming it was the parking ticket because, like, Edgeworth rolled in 3 minutes before. There's no way you can
How
premeditate
would she have
that
access
close.
to his car to get his knife, though? And have it at the ready to
No,
kill?
that's also fair.
Yeah.
It's just I feel like this is one of those where you could present multiple bits of evidence and be like, why this? Please explain. But, yeah, anyway. Witness, do you know what this is?
Are you trying to test me? I sell boxed lunches for a living, you know. That's a knife. The knife. The knife that was in Mr. Edgeworth's trunk.
Indeed, it is my knife. What's with this case? The bloody murder weapon was in the red car. Okay, defendant's the chief. Mommy, are the prosecutors bad people?
Oh, are those people in the background?
Yeah.
Sorry.
The defense's request. We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony.
What's that, rookie?
In her testimony, you stated that Lana Skye planned this murder, and that's why she was wearing those special gloves. Seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves do indicate planning. However, why would she not also prepare the most important thing, the murder weapon? This knife just happened to be in the trunk of that car. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're gonna plan a murder, you don't forget the murder weapon. Order! 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 Great, now the tide's turning in our favor.
Great show, Mr. Wright. My sister's as good as free.
Except she looks really pensive there.
Right. I believe the next lunch you'll be eating is humble pie. What? I hope you weren't deluding yourself into thinking that the tide has turned. Not over such a trifling detail.
Why, is he going to reveal that his knife was stolen or
But
something?
this shoots a hole in the whole premeditated theory. Bah. The prosecution could care less if it was premeditated or not. The only one who seemed to care is that lunch lady over there. The defendant, Lana Skye, murdered a detective with a knife. That is the only thing the prosecution need prove, nothing more.
I mean, it's necessary if you want to prove murder versus manslaughter, but
Very good, Mr. Prosecutor. I suppose you think you're clever now. But you know as well as I do that she planned on killing him. It was planned. If it wasn't that...
I believe I'd like to hear your testimony again. Witness, please tell us only what you saw, not what you thought.
How dare you? My powers of deduction are not to be underestimated.
Really now.
Angel's deduction. Lana Skye intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office.
how did she know about the call, though?
I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again.
I thought it was only one knife wound, though. That's going to be the point of contention.
The victim was summoned from the police department to the prosecutor's office. Does sound a lot like prosecution, doesn't it?
So,
Or premeditation, sorry.
if I ordered a pizza, does that mean I'm planning to kill the delivery boy?
In any case, the defense may now cross-examine the witness. Okay, so I know exactly where this one is.
But we might as well press on every single one.
Yep. You've said that, but you haven't told us how you know.
That's what I'm about to tell you, rookie.
I believe what she just said was a mere prelude to the story she's about to tell. Try not to interrupt her again.
Rookie. Never interrupt a storyteller. It's like putting a bun out in the oven half-baked.
Something's half-baked here, all right, and it's you. Try not to confuse the defense witness. They're not very quick on their feet. Now, why did you believe the suspect had intentions to murder the victim?
Her actions speak for themselves. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office.
You have no proof that Miss Sky called him there.
You have no proof that she didn't.
Huh. Mr. Edgeworth, thoughts? There's no record of a call made on the defendant Miss Lana Sky's phone.
She might have written him a letter.
Come on, you could have tried public phone first at least. In any case, the victim came to the prosecutor's office where he was murdered. I'm sure he had a reason to be there. Witness? Why do you think it was the suspect who summoned the victim that day?
Grudge. Let's press on the grudge.
What kind of grudge?
Well, I wouldn't know that.
Of course you don't. That's because she didn't have a grudge.
Rookie. I have a lunchbox here. Now, what's inside?
How am I supposed to know?
See? We agree there's a lunchbox here, but we don't know what's inside. A person's life is like a lunchbox with pretzels. Don't you agree?
I get it. That's why my lunch was so salty. The judge isn't very good with metaphors. The suspect had a grudge against Detective Goodman. Will you tell us your basis for thinking this?
It's simple. Nothing else would drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again.
Might as well press her on this.
A human machine? That's a contradiction.
What?
Please.
That's a weird contradiction.
Can't you find fault with something of substance, Mr. Wright?
Note to self, Mr. Edgeworth's sigh smells like citrus fruit.
My days of, the days of my youth. Like a freshly squeezed lemon.
Oh, Grossberg.
Grossberg. Huh. You say again and again. How many times did she stab him exactly?
We often say, chop into 1,000 pieces, but we don't actually mean 1,000 pieces. What difference does it make if the deed is done?
How come she's getting mad at me? Let's just say she stabbed him several times and leave it at that. Leave it at that. This is a murder case, people.
Mr. Wright, you should speak up if you have an objection, you know.
Miss Starr has turned out to be as short-tempered as she looked when we met her. Challenging her abilities as a detective really set her off.
The short wick burns out the fastest. That's scientific fact.
I wonder, wouldn't it depend on the size of the candle? I mean, add more wax and eventually a really short wick will burn longer.
Obviously, more scientific testing is required.
Okay, so let's get back to that last one and show the autopsy.
Yup. Present Blue Badger!
Nope. Autopsy.
You say she stabbed him again and again, but you couldn't have witnessed that.
Are you testing me? Then I'll test you. With my moss surprise!
I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Miss Starr. What do you mean? I shouldn't have to explain this, but take a look. The autopsy report states that the death was due to a loss of blood from one stab wound. Aha! You're right. Good show, Mr. Edgeworth.
What a hunk! He's my hero. Really. Never mind that I'm standing next to a guy that just presented the crucial evidence to pinpoint this particular part of the testimony as being contradictory to what actually occurred.
What about my objection? No one noticed? Should I have a Cravado 3? Well, witness.
Oh man. Look at that image.
Yep.
You got the crime scene set, right?
Oh, thanks.
I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood. But now, I realize that such mistakes are possible.
So, you're saying you mistook something for blood?
When she lifted her knife, I thought I saw blood at her breast. Splattered blood from her victim. That's why I thought she must have stabbed him at least twice.
Wait, so then she wasn't there before she started stabbing?
No. When she pulled the knife out, it sprayed? I don't know.
Yeah, but then she plunged again, so something tells me she wasn't there at the beginning.
Yeah.
She couldn't have been there at the beginning.
Then tell us what you saw that you thought was blood. Testify.
Her red muffler looked like blood to me. That's how ghastly the whole scene was.
Her red muffler.
Yes, like a scarf. The chief prosecutor always wears one around her neck. So, she can be easily... wait. What? What is that line?
Wow.
So she can be easily hanged at a moment's notice, I suppose.
She is right. Miss Sky was wearing a red scarf, wasn't she? But wait, isn't it odd that you mistook that for splattered blood? Well, people often mistake my beard for a bib. A judge with a bib. That's why this place feels so much like a kindergarten sometimes.
Actually, I do think I saw some traces of blood on her chest.
Actually, she's not wearing the muffler there.
Yeah, but remember, this is just a depiction of her
Yeah.
memory. We don't have an actual photograph of it.
However, the autopsy report is clear on this matter. There's only one knife wound. Apparently, Miss Starr isn't entirely sure of her own testimony.
Mr. Wright, this is our chance.
Chance for what, I wonder? Miss Starr's turned out to be a short... Okay, blah blah blah. Why are they looping that? I guess it's because we keep adding things. Okay. Present. So I want to check...
Let's look at the photograph.
Photograph
She's
first.
not wearing the
No
muffler.
Miss Starr, I demand an explanation. The witness is clearly not suited for detective work.
What?
The suspect was not wearing a scarf or a muffler of any kind when she stabbed the victim. And you've proved it yourself with this photograph.
But it can't be!
Only a professional lunch lady would be so utterly careless. Congratulations, perhaps you finally found your true calling in life. Ah, harsh words. Good diss.
In the end, Mr. Edgeworth prevails.
What was my objection, chopped liver?
But it was there. A scarf. No, not that. But something red. Really.
Well now, where were we? The witness has given us an entertaining interlude, but back to business.
What?
Very well, witness. Continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that.
Very well. I do remember some things accurately, at least.
Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of her testimony.
The most important part?
The part where your sister stabs the victim. This next testimony might just be the moment of truth. Let's see.
Apprehending the suspect.
So why is Edgeworth using our objectives as objections as evidence? I don't think Edgeworth believes her either. Nor does I think I don't think he likes her. But
yeah, it's funny because he's the one pointing out how the evidence is.
Yeah, so
rather than
I think
us.
Edgeworth is trying to score points for himself to some degree, because he's always had a reputation for false evidence, if that makes sense, and falsified testimony and stuff.
That's too. Maybe he's trying to be more straight-laced. Also, maybe he still likes the chief prosecutor.
Well, my assumption is also he smells a rat, and it's not Lana Skye. Because Edgeworth ain't dumb, and this time he's not trying to win, because we broke him on that.
After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to her side. I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Ah, yes. When I arrested her, She mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Starr, resistance is futile.
Well,
Wow, when did she become a Borg?
you are quite determined about this scarf, aren't you?
I strike like a snake and bite like a cobra. That's me, Angel Starr.
That wasn't a very good metaphor. First of all, Cobra is a kind of snake.
Don't bother me with details, unless you want to get bitten.
Bite me!
Hiss.
Please. No thanks.
Note to self, Mr. Wright is weak against poisonous snake bites. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum.
Ah, that's what the kicked over oil drum is.
An oil drum? Hard to imagine.
But the oil drum was on the other side of the partition, not that side of the partition.
She's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Rawr.
Very well, Miss Wright. Or Mr. Wright. I think I said Miss Wright. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you will. Okay. So where's this partition on the floor plans? I'm sure she means this wall next to the car. That's right. There was a wall there, about 6 feet high.
She was obviously trying to hide herself. Quite a natural thing for a criminal to do.
And what did you do then?
Okay.
You say quickly. Were you close to the suspect?
As I just said, I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time. Through a chain link fence.
Maybe I should press her for more details. Press.
Yeah.
I'd like to see this on the floor plans, just to be safe. The Lunchland car was... She was a visitor, thus she was parked in B block. She witnessed the murder from here. It would make it about 30 feet from the car, yes. Is that correct, Miss Starr?
Yes, that's right.
But there was a chain link fence in front of you.
I went over it, of course.
Amazing! The cough-up queen. Lunch lady athlete, indeed.
I thought it went all the way to the ceiling.
It would have taken her a little time to climb up over that fence. So she couldn't have gotten to my sister that fast.
Yeah, that fence was about 9 feet high, too.
Oh, there is a little bit of a
So how did Miss Guy not get away?
gap.
Because she called her sister.
Mm-hmm.
She mentioned the muffler. What exactly did she say?
If I remembered exactly, I would have told you in my testimony.
Cheeky.
Anyway, all I heard from her say was the word muffler.
Just that one word. So what you heard wasn't the suspect talking to you, but someone else.
Yes, the chief prosecutor was talking on her phone.
Her phone? She can't mean. By phone, do you mean this cell phone discovered at the crime scene?
Yes, ultimately.
Ultimately.
My memory is like a salmon heading upstream, you see.
No, the court doesn't see, Miss Starr. I am very blind.
The chief prosecutor first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall.
On the wall? That's right. Near the car, there was an emergency phone on the wall.
Apparently, it was out of order.
And so she used her cell phone. Indeed, the emergency phone was out of order that day. Ah, good witnessing, witness. Good witnessing. Whatever happened to good testifying? You should, of course, add this to your testimony.
The things I do to please this rookie defense attorney.
Okay.
Okay.
Call made to Emma at 518.
The word muffler was overheard. Okay, so this is new.
Do you think you could revise your testimony for the court? Aha! I was gonna ask the same thing.
I'll only say this one time, so listen close, rookies. The chief prosecutor stabbed the victim and ran behind the partition. She picked up the emergency phone on the wall, but it was out of order. So she pulled her own cell phone out of her pocket. And during that time...
Oh, during that time, you climbed over the chain link fence.
Ah! Then, when I boldly grabbed her arm, the chief prosecutor hung up her phone.
And you saw her doing this?
What is it, Mr. Wright? The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Starr, resistance is futile.
So, she tried to escape?
I'm sorry my sister was so suspicious, Mr. Wright.
Not as sorry as I am.
But she didn't do it. You have to believe me.
Well, what about the drum?
I don't think we can press on that yet. I don't think that does anything. But yeah, how did she even see the phone?
If she was behind the partition, yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say use the map.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Starr, I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge against Miss Lana Skye. The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias.
Well, I would have thought you would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor. You who, together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago.
Well, Miss Starr, this is a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How do you explain this?
I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me, and I'll make you cough it all up.
Let's look at the floor plans. You said you witnessed the crime from this point. However, if that's true, you couldn't possibly have seen Miss Skye making that phone call. I believe you see what I'm getting at. That emergency phone is on the backside of this partition. If indeed you were in B block, you couldn't have seen it. Order! Order! What's the meaning of this? It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch. She's coughing up lies. That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me a question. Tell us exactly what lie this witness has told the court. Here's where the counterattack begins. I can't afford to get this wrong. The witness lied about...
Probably...
where she saw it?
Yeah, because she would have to be on the other side of the partition. She would have had to have already been
There's also,
there.
like, no chain link in the photo and a bunch of other things. I'm betting where.
The photo, there was chain link.
Is there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. So, it couldn't be where, unless... Could it be the order of events?
Mm-hmm. Probably.
She lied about the order of events. Miss Skye used that emergency phone before the murder. I see. I'd thought of that. That took the wind out of her sails.
Mr. Wright, I'd hate to bother you while you're celebrating your victory, but why would anyone use the emergency phone before the murder?
Huh? Just when you think he can't sink any lower, he amazes us. I applaud you, Mr. Wright.
Ew, an orange peel?
You ordered the orange peel lunchbox, right?
Oh, this is a failure state.
Yep. Okay. Did I save?
I don't know. You could just take the hit.
I could take the hit. Nope. I'd saved. Boop.
You had?
Go back. Yep.
Okay. I would say then where she saw
Where
it.
she saw it. Miss Sky tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. Therefore, it would be pointless for Miss Starr to lie about it. Pointless to lie? I see. But say the witness did actually see Miss Sky using the emergency phone. It would mean Miss Starr witnessed the crime from a different location. A different location. Now that's a pointless lie if I ever heard one.
Objection!
Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it. Let me ask a question for our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness when she saw the crime? All the testimony we've heard up to now points in one direction. The place from where Miss Starr witnessed this crime was here.
Would it be the security room?
Yeah.
Because that's where she would have been giving her boyfriend the
Lunch,
food.
probably. And you can see everything from there. This is the only place where she could have been. The security guard room? Indeed, the security guard room in the underground parking lot is well positioned. It's built on the second floor, so you can see the entire lot. Ah, she would have been able to see the emergency phone from there. But why there? There's so many other places where she could have seen the phone. Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness, not being part of the prosecutor's office, couldn't park in A block. The only place where she could have seen the crime, and the back of the partition, is here. I remember in your testimony you said you brought a lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room, yes? Wait, but how did she take the photo then?
Right, someone else had to be there.
Oh.
Or there had to be...
Or she planted the camera.
Planted the camera, that
She
too.
planted the camera. Well, Miss Starr?
How many years have I been getting the better of men? To think that the tables could be turned. Today, a man has got the better of Angel Starr.
Order! Order! Witness! What have you done? You used to be a detective. You should know better.
I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished. And I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails.
The guilty... Is she talking about Miss Sky?
Mr. Wright, doesn't this strike you as odd? Why did Miss Starr lie? It doesn't make any sense.
Huh?
She could have just said that she saw the crime from the security guard station. It wouldn't have changed anything.
Exactly. The photograph tells all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. The truth still stands.
Objection!
It still stands. I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. What? If a witness is found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without a good reason. So, tell us what her reason was, Mr. Wright. Huh? Me? Who else?
Mr. Wright, let's review what we know.
Miss Starr witnessed the crime from the security guard station. But she lied and said she saw it from B block. It must make a vital difference, but what? What could change?
Well, it's not
Angle of view.
lighting, but
It's
yeah,
angle
angle
of
of
view.
view.
Because you wouldn't actually see the crime at all.
At all.
Why the angle at which she saw the crime occur would change. The angle? What do you mean? Well, the security guard station's on the second floor, and she would have a sort of more 3D view of the crime. And this is important. Why?
Well,
Damn
wait,
it.
wouldn't the security guard room have cameras in it? So that wasn't it.
That bothers me, though, because, like...
It's plausible. The distance?
I guess distance. Yeah, it's distance. But... The angle still matters, though, because you'd be able to see the body coming out of the trunk.
She couldn't have seen the murder happen if she was behind that partition.
Whatever. It changes the distance between her and the scene of the crime. My condolences, Mr. Wright, but one look at this floor plan, and it's quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she could see.
The partition.
What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time it would take her to reach the scene of the crime. Miss Starr, you witnessed the crime from the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Skye? Well, witness?
You.
Yes?
You ordered the squid wheels, right?
The quality of my lunches has now gone from low to inedible.
I was bringing a PB&J lunch with fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend.
Ah, boysenberry for the boyfriend.
He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the glass-walled station. And before I knew what was going on, I found myself running toward the scene. But the door was locked. I couldn't open it.
She had to run all the way around. And that's when she took the photo.
That's why I had to go through the visitors parking in B block.
That's quite a detour.
It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime.
5 minutes? This changes things considerably.
But it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear it. On my finest plastic spork.
You have a point, and the spork is a wonderful invention.
Would you like another caviar lunch?
Oh, baby! Uh-oh.
Mr. Wright, you have to do something.
Do I have any evidence to stop this? Yes?
Was the phone?
5 minutes between the witnessing of the murder and the arrest. Think about it. You could make pasta in that amount of time, if you like it al dente.
I've got lunchboxes that tie pasta into knots, rookie.
A 5-minute blank. Isn't that strange? Strange. If you were a criminal, what would you do with 5 minutes, Your Honor? Well, I guess I'd flee the scene. Hey, don't get the wrong idea. I didn't kill anyone. But you have the instincts of a killer. You would run, but this time was different. Miss Skye dawdled at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable.
Yeah.
We have a house now. You can scream a little.
Really?
Yeah.
So I can do the whole
Yeah, go for it.
But
it's part of the reason
I'm
why
worried,
we moved out here.
I'm worried about...
Neighbors are not
No,
going to hear us.
I'm not worried about neighbors. I'm worried about the mic,
It's fine.
like, blasting people's
So you back
eardrums
up
out.
or you aim away
Also,
a little bit
we
when you
need
scream?
water. Desperately.
Well,